Oh, I turned off the automated voice, so yeah, we're rolling.
All right. What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant, the transfer edition, and we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. United has some troubles with Mason Greenwood, and that also affects Jesse Lingard and him not being transferred at all. And Donnie van de Beek goes out to Everton, and his first interview is like, "Hey, guy, you're on loan. You're not an Everton player. Calm the hell down." Like, that's my reaction to Donnie van de Beek's first interview. It's like, this is not the type of interview you give, whether English is your first language or not, if you just went out on loan. Like, they didn't just buy. Does Donnie van de Beek know that Everton didn't buy him and that he's not a guaranteed starter? Because man, we'll go over the words.
I think he spent a year and a half wondering if United bought him or not. So that's familiar territory to him.
It's like, relax, bro, relax. And we'll see what Newcastle did. They tried to spend as much money as possible. Were they smart? Were they not smart? See how Spurs fans feel. We'll see how Arsenal feels with the Abameyang thing and not spending any money. Spurs got rid of some people. They loaned, they sold. And we'll see what Southampton did or didn't do. Liverpool did something monstrous and scary for the rest of the league. Man City, like, went to the, bought something and planted it in their nursery, and they'll go revisit it, for the seasons to come. And but before we get into that, thank you for listening. If you're listening on iTunes and allthingscomedy.com and Spotify and just all the places, Omni Studio. And if you're listening at All Things Comedy, or if you're not, go there sometimes and check out all the other comics there who have their own podcasts about their own topics. Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, just a number of comics. Tom Popper. I'm just going off the top of my head about the ones that I can remember. Our sponsors podcast is onthevolleyapparel.com. And if you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, you'll see tanks, tees, hoodie, and sweatshirts from, with soccer/hip hop logos and emblems on the front. And we also have our own 3 Soccer Comic Rant t-shirts there, so you guys can purchase if you want. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, and tell people about the podcast if you love it. And we have 2 of the usual suspects. We have Neil Chakravarty, stand-up comic and a big Chelsea fan, and we also have Lee Hudson, stand-up comic out of the UK and Southampton fan. What up? Cheers to you both.
Cheers. Just got back from
It
a
looks
show.
like I'm drinking. It looks like I'm boozing like an English pub with his tea. So we can talk international because America had a game against Canada, and we're in the CONCACAF division. Or we could do transfers when we get to America. There are some things I do want to talk about, like how the media is kind of attacking Berhalter, the American coach, but we could get to that and how you guys feel about, based on the results and what he's done so far and the team that he has. But I guess one of the first teams I want to talk about and their transfer window is Everton. And what do you guys think about Everton's transfers? They got Donnie van de Beek on loan. I think they bought Dele Alli. And
it's a weird one, the Alli deal. It's structured kind of strange.
Oh yeah, and in what way?
So it's a free transfer right now, but then I think if he plays 20 games, they get 12 million. And then there's some add-ons based on further appearances and goals. It could end up going up to like 35 million or something crazy, depending on a whole bunch of other stuff. But
they should have promised
it's all very performance-based.
I like how the Spurs gets that money, right? But you need to give him that money if he does that, to motivate him to do that. Like Dele Alli didn't play for Spurs when he was there. So why do you think he's going to play for them now that he's at Everton to get them all these incentives? This doesn't make any sense. Like,
well, we don't know what's in his contract as well. His contract might be heavily performance based as well, because he probably can't command the sort of money that he would have maybe 3 or 4 years ago from a club. So I'm guessing it wouldn't surprise me if he's on a fairly average Premier League wage now, with heavy bonuses for appearances and contributions.
This does look like a typical Everton signing, though, because we've talked about on the podcast before how Everton likes to look up the league at the teams above them and then sign the players who have failed from those teams. And they all right, we got a name and a bargain, and they have a history of this not working out for them. And I like Dele Alli, and I want him to win. But even at Spurs, you could look at their last 3 coaches, and they didn't use him. Now, one of those coaches was Mourinho. But there's one thing about Mourinho is, I remember when Mourinho was at Real Madrid, and he was the first coach to say that
Casillas,
the world-class goalkeeper, was done and is not there anymore. And everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? Mourinho's crazy. But he was right. You know what I mean? And if he's looking...
Juan Mata at Chelsea, similar, that he's not being the same player again. But I also feel like Mourinho kind of breaks them and then says it's broken.
Yeah, he always did it with Luke.
He did it with Ozil. Ozil, he was right too. It's not like the Ozil call. Look how Ozil went. He went to Arsenal, and then eventually everybody stopped playing him. So I don't think Mourinho is at the peak of his coaching, but I think he does recognize, as a man who is done himself and sliding down from his peak, he does recognize when players are sliding down from their peak and they're not going to be what they were anymore. So
he got a reaction out of Ali for the first few games. Ali was on fire initially when Mourinho first signed, and then it fell off real quick again. It was a strange one.
I remember that, and I was like, I think that's what Ali might do at Everton. He's going to look good the first 2-3 games, and then you might not see him again. I don't know what's going on with him, but I hope he fixes it. But it's a typical Everton signing.
I think if you see Ali, he is a midfielder who scores goals. But if you see the kind of players that and systems that Jose Mourinho, Nuno, and Conte employ, they don't really have. What they require from the midfielders is more, tracking back, hard work, than actually allowing them to, a free-flowing creative game. So I don't think he's been helped by those managerial appointments either. I think Pochettino got the best out of him, except for that last season where things kind of, even under Pochettino, it kind of declined. But then that season, it looks like, Pochettino himself as a manager was declining. Like, there was too many things after that Champions League final that kind of went wrong with the Spurs team.
Right. That Champions League final destroyed that team. It kind of feels like. So you're talking about like Dele Alli, defensive responsibilities, and he's used to being Roman and free. So let's go to Frank Lampard, right? Now, I feel like you know a lot about Frank Lampard, Neil. You're a Chelsea fan. And to me, when I watched Lampard at Chelsea, and after he left Chelsea and what Tuchel has done, Tuchel has solidified the defense and improved it with the same players. And I know Chilwell was injured at first. I don't know how much, I don't remember how much he got to use Chilwell, but Chilwell's injured now. But even though like Chelsea's main defenders are injured now, they're not still giving up a lot of goals. So Lampard was very attacking with Chelsea, right? And so, yeah, it might fit Dele Alli, but if there is one thing Lampard as a coach needs to work on is defense. And this is one of the main issues I feel is with Everton. Like from their middle and the middle of the field, helping a team defend and the defenders, period. And another question about Lampard, does he only coach teams that wear dark blue? Like, what's
Derby.
Derby was white though.
Oh yeah, I thought Derby was dark blue sometimes.
No, they have an away kit sometimes, which is, but yeah, they're white with black shorts.
Oh, okay.
And
but what were you gonna say?
It's gonna be a little different because I think Benitez did set them up decent from a defensive point of view. They just couldn't score goals. And again, it's one thing that I always look back at Lampard's time at Chelsea was we had a very bad defensive record. But there were so many other pointers that could say, well, it kind of was a little bloated because of what was happening in the goalkeeping department. Because we didn't, we were ranking pretty good among, shots conceded, shots on target conceded, XGA, all of that. It just used to completely break apart when it came to the, came to the keeper. And I looked at the stats right now. Guess who has among the lowest save percentages in the Premier League? It's Jordan Pickford at Everton. So I don't think he's getting any help there. So he'll have to figure out a way to have his system. There is a little bit of indication.
You're saying Jordan Pickford is Kepa.
I hadn't been paying attention, but I just looked at, since the appointment, I just looked at it, and it's just so bizarre that he's kind of going to face a similar situation.
Right. Goalkeeper wise.
Yeah. But just these two selections, Dele Alli and Van de Beek, he had a dream at Chelsea in that second season where even in the first season, he was trying to do it in Mount and Barkley. But again, Barkley's not that standard. So I think the idea was to get Havertz in to play that. Havertz and Mount play as attacking eights. Havertz is attacking midfielders, almost a second striker converted into a attacking eight. I think that's what's going to happen with Dele Alli. It seems very similar to what he's trying to do. These both seem to be budget versions of Mount and Havertz. And but the idea seems to be very similar. I don't know who's going to be their holder, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lampard lining up in a 4-3-3 with one holding midfielder and two attacking eights.
Yeah, or Ali's more of a 10 and Donny's more of an 8. So I think Ali will be close to the forward and Donny will be sort of in between, and then they'll have someone like Alan.
So what about Alan and Decore? They're going to use Alan or Decore?
Decore is more, he bombs forward. So he'll be in for one of the other two as a sub in games, or, who knows if either of those two are ready to start right away. So he might not go and change too much right away and phase them in.
But Decore plays like he's like one of their best just players, period. Like whenever he's on the pitch. So that's going to be tough. I will watch Everton to see, how Donnie's doing and to, make sure he's getting the reps. And, being a better player. So, growing into a better player so that we can use him later on. So I hope he does get some game time.
Something in terms of his role within the team, because Palace were in for him as well. And I think he would have been more likely to start week in, week out at Palace than he would at Everton. So
where would he have played at?
Lampard must have sold him something.
Right. Yeah,
What I found really bizarre was Everton sold Luca Digne in like 2 days before they sacked Benitez. And the only reason for selling the Luca Digne was because he wasn't getting game time because he didn't get along with Benitez.
Right.
You're gonna I think Lampard's system could have really used with a proficient left back like him, and it just shows the kind of decision making that goes on at that club. It's just so bizarre.
Terrible.
I feel like bringing in Donnie and Deli Alley is it's too much in the same area to pitch, and it's not exactly what they need. Like, I hear what you're saying, but
he also had only 1 day though. That's another thing. Like, if they wanted to make a change of managers, the time to do that should have been near the beginning of the transfer day. So you give them a new manager a little bit of breathing space to get his plans in place, pick and choose if he wants to buy up. He had literally 1 day to make a signing. So you basically look around and see who you can get.
Oh, that's great. That's like, supermarket sweepstakes, when you have to like run around the supermarket and come out with as
you got half an
much
hour.
things. Yeah. Good. That always goes well. So that's good. Good luck, Everton, with those transfers. There's some weird things going on, like not Matty Longstaff. This is just random. Todd Cantwell of Norwich joining AFC Bournemouth.
Yeah, it's only a loan. He hasn't played really for Norwich this season though. He's had injuries, so I think they're just sending him there to play and get fitness back.
You would think Norwich needs a Todd Cantwell. That is so weird. It's like, I would call him their best player. So I don't know.
He's not done anything this season though at all, really.
Right.
But he kind of fell out with the previous guy, right? Daniel Farke wasn't playing him, then he got injured. And then he got back. I thought he had one good game. I don't know.
Dan Burn to Brighton.
To Newcastle from Brighton, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, to Newcastle.
They got Target on loan from Villa as well, the left back, because Digne signed for Villa.
Right. And they got, Newcastle did, like, even if offensively, I don't believe in Wood like that. It's like, you basically just put a body up front, but did you put an effective body up front?
But I'm a little
The thing I found crazy with the Chris Wood signing was Burnley sold him for 25 million, which was his release fee to Newcastle, and then they replaced him with Weghorst from Wolfsburg for 12 million. And Weghorst is a vastly superior player, but Newcastle obviously didn't know that he was available. Otherwise, they should have really got him. He joined Wolfsburg in the 2018-2019 season. The only person who scored more goals in the Bundesliga in that time is Lewandowski.
Oh, shit.
What?
Yeah, more than Haaland. But I think Haaland came a season later.
Yeah.
The guy he's 6'6".
How old is he?
He is.
I think he's 29. He's a bit old. He's older. But he's 6'6". He's lean as well. He'll cause problems for Burnley. Like he'll really cause problems. And they got him for half the price that they sold Wood for, which is insane, really. He's a big Dutch guy. He's going to potentially be their savior if he can replicate his form from the Bundesliga. But it's a big if still. But I think he'll score more than Wood will between now and the end of the season.
Sounds like it. He's scored at least one more goal than Wood would for a season. Like what's Wood's average for like a season? Like 10 goals or something. So
he's only got 3 so far this season, though, because obviously Burnley was struggling and didn't play half their fixtures because of COVID.
yeah. I mean, so this could be crazy, right? So because of how some teams like haven't played certain games and some teams have, like somebody could get transferred and play a lot of games and then get transferred to a team that didn't play a lot of games, and then you end up playing over. It's 38 games in a season.
Yeah.
Like you could end up playing 40-something games in a Premier League season.
That'd be crazy. Like if somebody
be
ends up
crazy.
playing over 38 games.
Yeah, that'd be bananas, man.
Yeah, let me see how many appearances Chris Wood has had, for example.
Yeah, there has to be somebody, it's like this transfer. What do you think about Bruno Gomez? If I'm saying, I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
Guimaraes.
Guimaraes. I knew I said it right.
I think that's a bizarre one. Like he could have gone to a lot of other clubs. I presume there's some sort of relegation clause in his contract that allows him to leave
I heard there's
immediately if they go down or something, because he should be at a bigger club really. So it's a great bit of business for Newcastle, but it's also a risk. He might not adapt quickly, and they don't really have time on their side, which is, I guess, why they went for Wood, because they know he knows the league. But he's a very good player, so it'll be interesting to see how that one goes, or where he ends up after this season when Newcastle go down.
Damn, you cold-blooded, fam. What position does he play? Midfield?
Yeah, he's like a sort of deep-lying midfielder.
So how does he play? Because, listen, and I'm asking because, let's talk about Liverpool style. And is it Luis Diaz? Is that his name?
He's a winger.
Winger, right? So, when you go online on YouTube, they have all these highlight reels of everybody, and everybody looks good. You'd buy everybody based on
Kennedy looked amazing when I saw him in the highlight reels.
But here's the thing, I've seen so many highlight reels, I think I know how to decipher if somebody would really be good in the Premier League. And the highlight reels I'm gonna go by are by the Bruno Fernandes highlight reel. And the thing about that kind of made me want United to really get him was not just the skill, but there's this extra tenacity in his reel that it's like, oh, this motherfucker wants it. And then, Arsenal's Asian right back?
Yeah.
Tomiyasu, right? So I don't know what league that reel was from. It looked like a real lower league, But, also could have
been. He came from Bologna.
But it was like, it looked really weird. But in that reel, he was super tenacious. He wanted it more than everybody on the field in all the games that they played, that they showed. And I was like, oh, if he does this in the Premier League, he'll be fine. And he's been fine so far. And then trying to think of who else real was like, oh yeah, this motherfucker might do it. So the Luis Diaz, this is a Bruno Fernandes level of tenacity. Not only does he have skill, he's faster than everybody. He shows everybody he's faster than him, and he scrambles and he goes for everything. So I feel like the league is in trouble, and also Mane is in trouble because this guy wants it, and that's all he has to do is bring that. In every clip of the reel, he wanted it more than everybody else, even a teammate or him. And his finishing was crazy, and the dribbles and the just determination. I think that's the only I think anybody can have a skill reel, but if you're like the horniest guy in the reel, for the football, then that's how you tell. Because I don't think any of those people have failed so far.
Going back to your question about Bruno Guimaraes, he's like an all-round midfielder. He's a good ball winner. He's a great passer as well. He'll dribble the ball, he'll move forward with the ball. yeah, he does a bit of everything. So that'll be interesting to see who he plays with in that midfield, because Howe seems to like Shelvey as well. So I presume he'll be in there with him and one more, because he likes a 3-player midfield.
I think he's that next evolution, like this new generation midfielder who is a 6, but these 6 aren't really 6s anymore. Like they're more of 8s, because they can play that box-to-box role too. They're comfortable in possession. They can pass out from the back. Chouameni from Monaco is something similar. I think Declan Rice, what he's showing year after year, he's kind of building that part of his game too. I think Newcastle's done a great job getting him in, because a lot of big teams were looking at him, and Newcastle kind of pulled the trigger.
Oh, so you think they're going to stay up now?
Yeah, I'm actually really worried about Newcastle now for the first time. And I don't understand what happened to the Premier League pact of not selling them any players.
I mean, United tried. So what do you think about Dan Burn?
Yeah, like why are you giving them Dan Burn? Like Newcastle was a soft touch. And
I think he's getting older, and it was towards the end of his contract, and Brighton were just like, we'll take your money. We'll take your money right now for him. He was kind of a key player for Brighton in their back 3. So that's interesting. I mean, obviously they're not going to go down, so they're probably going to look at, phasing someone else into there now. But
then these clubs need to not just think about this season. Brighton may not have a problem from Newcastle this season, but they're on the way. Like the route Newcastle is going to take to hurt clubs like Chelsea, Brighton's a pit stop on that route. So like they need to be worried. I don't understand why they don't have this level of desperation.
Why is Chelsea worried when they have an academy? Like you probably don't ever have to buy another player again. I know you love to worry.
I'm always thinking of how things can go wrong.
Right.
One of the
go ahead.
One of the central midfielder transfers that really surprised me, though, that no Premier League clubs got involved in, was Dennis Zakaria to Juventus. 4 million he went for from Gladbach.
Okay. What's his position?
He's like a holding mid or box.
He's the position that United need.
Yeah.
Well,
he's a whole let me just drive out with the ball.
All right. Well, let me just comment on the United's lack of transfers. I actually like it. Like, we need to be measured, and we need not to panic. Like, the fans, I know they're upset, and they want us to buy. Like Arsenal fans, it's fun to watch them. Like, we didn't buy, and it's like, hey man, when are you going to start trusting your team, Arsenal fans? Like, look at the buys you've made over the last few years. They've been good. And the football decisions have been good. Even when you got rid of Martinez and it looked bad, then you got Ramsdale, and he's actually, I don't know, like stat-wise, but he seems like he's actually a step better, And then you just go around the field. We just mentioned the Asian right back, and they got Odegaard, and then so I feel like the arc. And even though we gave him shit at first, I know I did. Edu is proving that he knows what he's doing. So don't cry that they got rid of Chambers. He's not as good as White, and he's not as good as Gabriel. I don't know what they're. Yeah, there you go. So it's like they're bitching about that.
I think what really hurt and offended the Arsenal fans is that there are a couple of players who dropped in from the MLS, and these guys can't stand anything American after how much they hate their owner. So it's like, and one of them I think is from a team that Kroenke owns,
Colorado.
The Rapids, yeah. So that really riled them up. Like this is kickbacks.
Arsenal got two MLS players.
Yeah.
They got a goalkeeper as well, didn't they, from New England Revolution?
Yeah.
I think haven't they loaned them straight both out?
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, I think one of them is coming in. Okay, let me check.
Well, they've cleared some real big numbers off their wage bill with obviously Abameyang going out, and Kolasevsky finally went permanently.
I can't believe Kolasevsky was still there.
Maitland-Niles.
He was just stopping people, the other players from getting robbed.
Maitland-Niles and Pablo Mari went on loan, and obviously Chambers went to Villa permanently as well.
So they had 5 players going out.
Yeah, they're clearing deck. I think there'll be a few more in the summer. Like Lacazette will probably go in the summer.
I mean, which is all in good, but then, you know, the next time I think the question will be asked, if you want to postpone a few more games because your squad's not big enough, then
if they postponed when they had those guys, they'll definitely postpone now, or that they don't have those.
I mean,
guys.
that was what was being said, because they had already let go 3 of these guys, and then they were trying to say that, hey, you know, we only have these many players. Well, there's a reason why
the league should just dock them those games, because like, hey, you had these guys and you had never intended to use them, and you used you said you used an excuse, like you just didn't believe in these guys, so you could have just played anyway.
I think generally, like all the top teams, it's been a pretty conservative. Like, you know, speaking about the Luis Diaz one, I think that's a very smart move by Liverpool, because it seems like their forward line is coming to, you know, to an end of a cycle. So Salah obviously is still flying high, but from a contractual point of view, Salah, Mane, and Firmino, I think they're both ending around the same time, which is like in 18 months from now. And Mane and Firmino have had periods of where, you know, you could question their effectiveness, like if they've dropped down level from, you know, where they used to be at. So if they have to go, if Liverpool is going to go into these contract negotiations and Salah is already asking a lot, they can't afford to have Mane and Firmino also re-sign on really high contracts. So they need some leverage at the negotiation, at the, you know, the table. I think a player like Jota, a player like Luis Diaz, who are younger and doing well, gives them that leverage. Hey, you want to go? Sure. We would like to keep you, but at this price. So, but that's good planning ahead of time.
It's good planning, but it doesn't mean Mane is going to be like, you know what, I'll stay for less money, even though I can get more money somewhere else. Mane is still going to be like, I'm out, you know, and go get some money.
No, like, the thing is, if Liverpool can't pay that money, they can't pay that money. So
no, I know it's good business for them, but it doesn't guarantee you that the other player is.
Oh yeah. It just makes your position pretty strong. Like, you know, Chelsea did this weird thing where now all our centre backs are running out of contract, and we sold 3 good Premier League level centre backs.
Oh, I know.
Just in the last 6 to 8 months. So now we have zero leverage. Rudiger, Christian's coming to the table, and they're asking whatever, and they can, because, you know, we've dropped the ball. So I think Liverpool's doing a great job, like being ahead of the situation in a similar scenario.
Like I always say about Chelsea, it's like they're like one of the best run teams and one of the worst run teams at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
the number of unforced errors that we do are crazy.
Yeah, you guys, and as far as like United, like, you know, there was a midfielder they wanted us to, you know, the fans wanted us to get. He was going to be cheap. I don't want to say his name wrong. And we could have probably gotten for like 6 mil. I think he was in the French league. But it's like
Tchouaméni? Oh no, Tchouaméni wouldn't be 6 mil.
No, it's not him, it's somebody else. I forgot.
Was it the guy from Stade Rennes?
Probably, yeah. What's his name?
I can't remember. I saw the one that there were a couple of clubs who were linked with him.
Right.
If it's the guy who I think it was, and then he ended up just going nowhere.
Right. And everybody's like, why not just get him? It's like 6 mil. And if he works out, he works out. But it's like, aren't we tired of doing stuff like that? It's like, we're getting a new coach soon. We don't know if it's Ragnick going to stay or who he's going to appoint, but we're trying to build something. It's like fans have like FOMO. Other people are buying, so you got to buy. And even though they know what type of window the January window is. And they can always say, yeah, we got Bruno Fernandes in a January window, but he was also a summer target. So getting him in the January window was just United doing something in the winter that they should have did in the summer. So it's still a summer buy late. You know what I mean? It's almost like we loaned him to the team that he was with in the Portuguese league for like half a season, and then finally got, So
yeah, it wasn't a panic buy. It's someone you tracked for a period of time first, which is different to a lot of other clubs in January.
Exactly. So it's like, let's not panic. Like, you know who our new player is? Our new player for the end of the season is cohesion. It's team cohesion. And then Pogba too. But he's a part of the cohesion that, we need to become a team, and we're slowly starting to do that. And I just want to see that new player. You know what I mean? Cohesion, like grow stronger and stronger. And so that's what I want to see. Jesse Lingard, it's weird. I know he's not going to leave Manchester United when he does happy. He's going to hate United by the time he leaves. Like he's an academy kid. He could have went to West Ham in the summer. He decided to stay and thought he'd get playing time. And then we bought Sancho, and then we had to buy Ronaldo, so Man City wouldn't get him. Then he gets, and I heard part of the reason why he stayed at United is because we were getting Ronaldo, He
wanted Instagram photos with
yeah. Maybe get him to like help him sell his merch. Like just put this on and get a photo.
Ago, though, like Lingard needed to go. Lingard needed to be sold. I said at the time, I think my analogy was Lingard is like GameStop. Like you need to sell. You need to sell while the price is high before it becomes worth nothing.
I think he just made some bad decisions, so he decided to stay, right? And then I don't know why he stayed, because we would have sold him to West Ham. It feels like, and it just seems like from all the news I got that he didn't want to leave to go to West Ham.
I think there was a lot of hope around this Manchester United season at the beginning of the season with the signings, and I think he also believed that he has a chance to, maybe not as the main cast, but as a squad player, to really end my Manchester United career on a high and do something like win a trophy, go on a run, maybe compete for the league. And I think that kind of like made him, and then of course the way the season went, it's nothing like that. So now he wants to leave, and
he's stuck. Look. Well, it's just been a roller coaster. So the coach who promised him playing time didn't give him playing time, and then got fired. And then he's like,
well, I heard like Rangnick was okay with him leaving. It's the board that didn't want to sell him.
So then Rangnick is okay with him leaving. So they try to do a deal with Newcastle. Then Manchester United throws in this $12 million if you stay up clause. Then Newcastle is like, fuck that. And then at the end of the window, the Newcastle's like, all right, we'll give you some of that money. And then Mason Greenwood situation happens. Yeah. And then you Manchester United's like, we just got rid of Dolly Van de Beek. And
Martial went away.
We just got rid of Martial. We just lost Mason Greenwood. Yeah. This guy has to stay. We can't accept your new deal. So then, he got caught up in the middle of a domestic dispute between Mason Greenwood and his woman, and United and Newcastle, and it's just bad timing. So but maybe he'll get some playing time still, like he wanted to. It's just how crazy how things affect like
dominoes,
a number of people's lives. It's a domino thing, man. It's just bananas.
Also, I mean, on the football side, though, I think Lingard's been overtaken by Elanga now as well.
Yeah, and that's because Lingard's a midfielder, right?
He's a midfielder or a winger. Like he played quite advanced at West Ham because of the system they played. He was one of the sort of attacking midfielders / wingers playing off of Antonio. There was him on one side and like Bowen on the other side.
But I felt like he was always coming out the middle and then advancing. But
yeah, well, they had a back three with wing backs, and then they had like the two attacking mid wingers like behind Antonio.
Yeah, so it's weird that Elanga just jumped over Van de Beek, him, even though it's like kind of different. It's a different position. It's like, but it's and like even Van de Beek, it's like I think it's weird to not get rid of him, to loan him out when the only player stopping him from playing is Bruno. And what if Bruno gets injured? You know,
you got Pogba back now as well.
Yeah, but that's, you know, a kind of a different position. But maybe we see how this 4-3-3 works out. Maybe we need to like consolidate our positions. Like
I've heard Rangnick's not going back to the 4-2-2-2 anytime soon.
All right. But when I say consolidate, I guess I mean like before it's like this player is a defensive player, this player is an attacking player, and like when you look at Liverpool, like, no, you're playing everything. Whatever your position is, you're doing everything. You know, it's like we had too much like this player is for this and this player is for this. And it's like you can get more out of each player, like if you broaden their responsibilities and like make them do more. So how do you guys think Pogba is going to fit into this 4-3-3? Like where would he be?
I think he should be the box to box, but maybe alongside somebody like Fred or McTominay. But the problem is that playing Pogba there kind of means that you're kind of compromising on any defensive responsibilities from there. So who do you have? You don't have a really established, dependable DM behind you. So, and that's part of the reason why he doesn't play a lot. So unless you can absolutely free him out and give him a position to play as a number 10, it's going to be tough.
He plays well, he's just been injured.
Use him like Solskjaer used to for a few games where he played him as like a left winger, where he just tucks inside and plays as an additional 10, and then whoever the fullback is, whether it's Tellez or Shaw, just has the whole left side to themselves almost.
Isn't that where Bruno is now, on the left side?
Yeah, so if Bruno's there, then it frees up a space at 10 centrally for Pogba potentially as well.
But then he doesn't want to be 10. I mean, yeah, he does. He wants to. So we play like 2 10s now, right? And
I think in a 4-2-2-2, that would be amazing, because if you have a backline of 4, you have 2, you have Fred and McTominay right now. What can you do? Just to make Fred there, and then in front of them, if you have Bruno and Pogba playing together, I think that'd be really great.
I gotta be honest though, like in the last probably 5 games, besides like Bruno doing a little something, and scoring and having some assists, like Fred and McTominay have been like our best players. So it's, you guys asked me before a while ago, like about Fred and McTominay. He was like, are they good players? I was like, they're decent. And you said, did you think Solskjaer is getting the best out of them? And the answer was no. So, and would a better coach, because we was talking about how good of a coach is Solskjaer. And so you guys have proven a point that a better coach would get more out of them. And I think Rangnick is, sometimes it's just a positioning thing. If you have like the crazy mind of a coach like Pep, who's like on every detail and teaching them every detail. Like Fred has made some Pogba-like passes that nobody talks about, and had some really good assists that you never really expected to come out of Fred before. And nobody's really pointing to these things. And McTominay's done some pretty amazing things. It's not just like that once in a while. Like McTominay will do something once every 6 games. If that's gone up a level to every other game. So it's like
he scored a couple of nice goals. I thought he was maybe even your best player against Brentford away in that game.
Right.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, so it's like, what is the value of these players for real? And I guess we'll find out.
Well, Rangnick
Yeah.
loves energy. He loves players that will have that tenacity and that fight. And I think McTominay's got that. I don't know if maybe at times under Solskjaer he was maybe a little bit more downbeat, but I think Rangnick looks like he's got him fired up and he's out there. He's just covering every part of the pitch kind of thing and just running his arse off. So, you know, he could be a player who really suits Rangnick's style.
Who else's trades are you guys excited about? What about Spurs? Like you in the chat, Neil, you highlighted all the Spurs transfer failures. You want to run through them?
Oh, that was me.
It was you. You want to enjoy
But,
yourself?
I mean,
You want
I
to
think Neil will happily go over it as well.
Yeah. So yeah,
Go for it.
They've let £102 million worth of transfers from the last 2 years go out on loan today or over the last week.
And what are the names?
That's Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Brian Hill as well.
Can I tell you why I'm happy about the Lo Celso? So I don't mix him up with the other guy that looks like Lo Celso that plays for Spurs. Who is that again? I always get Los, Regalia. There you go, Regalion. Like I mixed them up.
Yeah.
I like, is this the same guy? And then you throw Harry Winks in there. You're like, hold on, are these guys the same players? One of these guys got to go so I can clear my head. So I'm happy about that. I kind of, for some reason, believe in Brian Hill. So, you know, he's on loan now, so we'll see.
Yeah, he's younger. He's not really made an impact. He showed a lot of promise before he came in. Like, he looked good in La Liga, but I don't think they found a way to use him. He's a winger, and Spurs don't play with them. And I think he's more pace rather than trickery. So he hasn't had an opportunity to play inside in the front two like Mora has and Bergwijn has. With Son being injured, so I think he was just one they wanted to move out. And then obviously they've replaced these guys with two players from Juventus, which is Bentenko and Kulasevsky.
What the hell is a Kulasevsky? Is he good? What's his position?
He's a Swedish dude. I think he can play like attacking mid, wide, or central. Whereas Bentenko is more of like he's further back in centre midfield.
I kind of like Bentenko at Juventus. All right. Am I crazy? Like I seen him like do good in
his stocks are really high at one point.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a lot of him of late.
But yeah, he's the one who Juve wanted to move on so they could get Dennis Zakaria in from Gladbach. So it was a one in, one out kind of policy there. So they identified an upgrade and got it, and then shipped him out. But I think he'll be comfortable enough in there. It's a player that obviously Conte knows from Serie A as well. Even if he didn't directly manage him, he knew of him when he was at Inter.
The Ndombele one kind of like really intrigues me because I thought he was, like last season, he had spells where he was showing the kind of transfer fee that he has bought in. And I really feel like he's very talented and he can actually cut it at the highest level. So I don't know what this loan means. Does this mean that this is just a precursor to selling him in the summer, or they just want to give him some game time and bring him back?
It's a weird one. Like he was so good in spells, but he never showed the consistency. And I think I heard about some obviously issues with he was poor at training or not turning up to training and stuff, and sort of motivation issues. So it's no good having a player like that if they're not going to do it consistently for you. That was what we had with Mario Lemina. Like on his day, he looked world class. But there's a reason why he went from Juventus to Southampton. There's if a player is that good, then they're not going to make that transfer. So he could be one who ends up just moving, backwards in his career if he carries on.
Which is like so weird. Like, so Leon just got Ndombele, and if his issues have nothing to do with his game, then it's literally a waste of time even for them. Like if he's not going to turn up for training, you're just moving the problem from place A to place B.
I think they may have had a bit of a hole in their squad because they wanted Lo Celso as well, but Lo Celso chose Villarreal because he wanted to work with Emery and play in Spain. And I think Ndombele wanted to go back to France. So yes, and obviously
that's where he came from. Right? So.
Yeah, they had a hole in their midfield as well. So maybe just going back into a more familiar environment will maybe serve him better because he was linked with PSG as well, wasn't he? But yeah, who knows?
Yeah, and Ndombele, like I definitely agree with you on the like I remember when he just was like the 60-minute player, the 80 million 60-minute player. Like what coach was that will take him out in 60 minutes into every game, no matter how good he was playing? That's all they felt he had. He was the first sub out of every game, whether he had assist or not. They're like, oh, he's done. All right, get him out. And I feel like he'll do better in the French league. It's an easier league, and he's played now in a tougher league. And excuse me, we'll see. To me, he's like it's like Spurs had two Dele Allis, two really skillful guys
who wouldn't train,
who wouldn't train or defend. You know, so now they got rid of him for nothing. And trying to who else was like big on this list? So how do you guys think Newcastle did overall? Did I ask that?
I think they did the best among all the teams.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool did a great job too because they actually got a player who they can start using right away. Again, a player who I think Spurs were in for, and
Spurs, like they were going to buy
Luis Diaz and Abameyang.
Liverpool was going to buy Diaz in the summer.
Yeah.
Spurs sneaky try to jump that and get him now, which made Liverpool like, fuck it, we're not going to wait till the summer. We're going to get him now.
No, I think Luis Diaz got the call from Spurs, and then he contacted Liverpool. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna let me go to Spurs? No, that can't happen. Buy me now.
I'll give you a one-time offer.
Buy me now.
Please.
Yeah.
It's so basically,
don't make me go there.
Basically, it was a hostage video.
Yeah.
Of like they want this amount of million. Please send it, and they'll release me to you.
Yeah. And Liverpool almost, they might still have the agreement in place, but they almost got Fabio Carvalho from Fulham.
I think that will happen later on for sure.
Right. So it looked like it was going to happen. He's 19.
Is it good?
Yeah. I mean, he looks like, like a box-to-box or /AM kind of a player.
Yeah, I heard that one was only time constraints that made that one fall through.
Yeah.
Like it was going to happen. They didn't have the time to get it done, so it will come back in the summer, that one, for sure.
Yeah.
And let's see who else.
Man City bought a striker. Man City bought a striker from River Plate.
From River Plate, yeah. And that's another guy Man United was linked to. And the fans like, get him, and you're gonna let Man City get him and build, and then and it's like, we don't need a striker, bro. We don't need us. And I'm calling all United fans, bro. We don't need a striker.
Yeah,
that's FOMO. It's like, and then when we do something like that, we don't use the player. Everybody's like, you're not using him, and then it becomes this whole thing of like we buy Sancho, then everybody's like, you're not playing him on the right. But if we play him on the right and we didn't play Mason Greenwood, you're like, Mason Greenwood did so well last year, you're not using him. It's like,
that's one less problem to worry about.
Yeah, now Sancho will definitely be playing on the right. There's no reason for him not to be. But
I think Villa's business was pretty good, even though they did it early. It wasn't like in the news so much because they did it early in the window with obviously Coutinho and then Digne.
Yeah.
Chambers was the only they got in.
Right. Villa has to learn your trade is not sensational unless it's last minute. And you're not going to get the bang for your trade buck when you're punctual.
Well, there was rumors of Suarez briefly.
Yeah.
Because he's
that was
not
early,
playing as much at Atletico, and obviously he's got the link with Gerrard. So maybe in the summer that one might come back around.
I know I saw like a Coutinho, Gerrard, Suarez meme, like they're all on the phone. And it was like hilarious, guys. What do you think Villa's like business will like put them at the end of this season, like on the table?
They should just about break into the top half, and that's only because they were so inconsistent under Dean Smith. That they're in that position because they look way better under Gerrard. If he can keep that going, I think they'll break the top half, possibly sneak a Europa spot. But yeah, I think they can definitely finish top half if the run carries on the form that they're in.
And then just to go to a game, like, so you feel like Newcastle did good, right, Neil? Their first game is against Everton. Who do you think wins that? With Everton's buys, and they need to win, and Lampard's first game, and Eddie Howe spending $100 and something million or of euros or pounds, or like who? Lee, who do you want to win that? Who do you want to win that game? Who do you hate most? That's how you're going to do this.
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking both of you.
Oh, I definitely would want Everton to win. No questions asked. Because, of course, you don't want Newcastle. But Everton are on a tricky ground. They're technically only 4 points. They're 4 points above the drop zone, and they have a game in hand. But their games in hand means nothing because they've literally they've won one game in the last 9. So they, I think one game here and there. Norwich are out of the drop zone right now, so it's going to be tricky. I think Everton, if they're not careful, they can easily be dragged into this relegation battle. And Newcastle, with what they have done in the transfer market, Eddie Howe's entire career is on the line right now. Like after this kind of backing, if he doesn't pull Newcastle out of the relegation zone, he's going to find it tough to, he's going to have to storm the championship, like get an insane points tally in the championship to keep his job next time they come back to the Premier League.
I think the Lampard appointment is a big risk for both teams, or for both sides of that deal as well, though. Like,
you mean Everton and Lampard?
Yeah, on Lampard's side, he's walked into a club that have no real philosophy based on the scattergun appointments and transfers they've made in the past. They're in obviously poor form. There's poor morale.
They do have a philosophy. It's just a shitty one.
Yeah.
It's working fine. If you want to have shit results, their philosophy has not changed. It's been consistent. Managers come and go. You have a gumbo of players. It's just like you can't have like they're the only team that has ice cream and rice in the pot at the same time, and I can't figure out why the shit don't taste right.
That's the risk for Lampard though, because if he fails spectacularly at Everton, he's probably writing himself off of any Premier League jobs in the future, like in the next few years, if he absolutely stinks there. And at the same time, the risk for Everton is that there's other teams below them who are picking up form, picking up points. And they've appointed a manager who is relatively unproven still. It might turn out great. That's the thing. It might turn out great. But it's also a huge risk given the position they're in. I'm not saying they should have got out and got out back again. But it's a risky appointment on both sides, in my opinion.
Yeah, Lampard's never had to face relegation battle. So, it's going to be
going in mid-season to a club that's a mess.
it's beyond mid-season, because at least mid-season you get a full transfer window to do something about it. It's so, half-baked.
Yeah,
But I think Lampard had to take the job because he already passed on so many jobs, and then you get a bad rep if you just keep doing that again and again and again. That next job is probably never gonna come to you.
Nah, you just can't think like that. Like, I feel you, but
He's rejected the Crystal Palace job, the England under 21s job, and the Norwich City job.
Yeah, Norwich as well as the other one.
So it's not like Man City or Liverpool.
Might have talked to
United
Rangers as well.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was offered to him though. I don't think it reached that level. So I feel at some stage you need to take the plunge, and Everton in a normal year is a decent choice for taking that plunge. It's just that they are in that shitty situation right now where they're bordering on the near relegation.
Yeah, I guess he's hoping he can just limp through, keep them up, and then he can start putting his own sort of philosophy in place after. But he's also come back to Chelsea to pinch a coach as well.
That's so again.
Joe Edwards.
So Chelsea did nothing in the window, but the only thing that happened to the first team is a bad thing. Like Joe Edwards, I think very highly rated coach. He's been very pivotal, in that link from the academy to the first team. This dude has spent. He's I think 35 years old. He spent 27 of those years at Chelsea because he was a player from 8 years old. He was in the academy. I think in his mid-20s, he had a serious injury, like in his early 20s. So he straight away moved to coaching the under-8s, which was the only job that was available for him. And literally his coaching career has run parallel with the playing careers of the batch of Reece James, Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher, because he has coached them from the age of 8. And
he was the coach who won the FA Youth Cup a few times, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. And we don't have that link anymore right now. And Jody Morris is already gone. So I don't know if we have any plans to replace him. Lampard also tried to get Anthony Barry, which would have been even worse because Anthony Barry was a coach who Lampard had brought in at Chelsea from Wigan. He's been very influential in a lot of our set piece formations and a lot of our counter pressing. And if you see a lot of Chelsea games these days, you'll see how the number of goals that our defenders are scoring from set pieces. And
don't we have a set piece guy that we took from you?
I know who you're talking about. He was more than just set pieces.
That's the guy who used to be at Shrewsbury, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's still working for you and against us, and we're paying him because we haven't scored 100 corners. So good job, Jesus.
I was kind of worried that Anthony Barry is also going to go, but I guess.
So what's the name?
Eric Ramsey is the other one.
Oh yeah,
that's the one Man United has.
Yeah, the one who went from Chelsea to United.
He's putting cones out now for us. That's what he's doing. They're supposed to give him like half an hour he was getting half an hour with the team after training. When Solskjaer was there, now he's putting cones out. And so what's the name of the guy? So
Joe Edwards.
Is there a guy named Clements that he also got?
Paul Clement
was come back, the ex-Swansea manager.
Yeah.
Ex-Derby manager. He was Ancelotti's assistant at Real and PSG and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He worked at Chelsea prior to Ancelotti as well.
Yeah.
So I heard this time, so he got people that were better than him, at coaching to help him, which is you need that. So,
I think there was
off Jody Morris this time. He was like, "No, Jody, sorry."
Yeah, that was an interesting thing because he actually took Jody to Derby and and Chelsea. So it's interesting that there's no Jody Morris in the setup now. Yeah,
Like,
he's got Chris
inherited some
Jones.
stuff. He like Ferguson stayed. I think Leighton Baines is staying. He's taking Ashley Cole as well. So he's just assembling old England left backs. I have Cole, I have Baines.
Everton has Ashley Cole.
Yeah,
as a coach.
I don't think that's confirmed yet, but there's reports that he's gonna get Ashley Cole.
Yeah, he had Cole at Derby. Didn't he have Cole at Derby? But did he take him to Chelsea as well?
So he was
just at
so
Derby?
Ashley Cole
player coach
came
at
from
Derby.
He came in from LAFC as a player coach.
Or Galaxy, wasn't it?
Galaxy, sorry, yeah. As a player and then a player coach and then a coach, and then he went to Chelsea as an academy coach, and that's where he's been since. But I think he's gonna move to. So,
all right. I'm trying to think. I guess we covered the transfer. I just wanted to say, so just for United, I'm glad we didn't buy, and let's just see how the season works out with Fred and McTominay. I know everybody. It's hard to believe, and maybe I'm just, what's the term, optimistic, and I feel like these guys will be better now that they have a better coach. I like what Ragnick says before, during, and after games. I like how direct he is, how clear he is, and I think they didn't have a clear coach that really knows football as much before. So, and we're getting Pogba back, and like I said, cohesion is the player that we bought. And so let's just, and I know it's risky because not getting a central midfielder is dangerous because we might not make the top four. You know, we're there now, but we have other teams have games in hand on us, and it's risky.
As Martin likes to remind us all the time, they have like that million games in hand, which of course you're going to win all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Points in his eyes.
Threes in the bag. So we'll see. Like, I like the direction we're going. So let's continue and see that. You guys want to talk a little bit about like the U.S. losing 2-0 to Canada? I don't know if you guys saw that game. I did, and Canada was on them, and it's the best
without
team.
Alphonso Davies as well.
Without Alphonso Davies, right? And it's probably the best team Canada's ever had. And if they were ever going to beat the U.S., it was in Canada on Sunday. And you know, they're at the top of the conference right now, and America, I think, is still second. Yeah. But people are so disappointed. Like, there's detractors, or like one, I forgot the name of these guys. It's on ESPN or something, I think, or Fox, and they were like, if all you've done was those 2 championship games against Mexico, and you're going to hang your head on that as a successful coach, then you're not good enough. Like something like that. And it's like, hey, he's won the 2 things that were in front of him. This qualifying thing is not over yet. Canada has the best team they ever had in their history. Yes, they haven't beat us since the 1980s, but all streaks come to an end. Like, they call the team soft, and it's soft because of Berhalter's selection, but a soft team doesn't outpossess another team. Like, softness is not the issue. You know what I mean? It's like softness is not the issue. It's like the Canada took their chances, and the US did not make enough chances. And I'm gonna look something up, and while you guys I'm gonna look up the game stats while you guys.
I've got them here.
Okay. The good thing is that Mexico also dropped points, so it's not that bad a situation. You can still. Who do you still have to play? I think you've already played Mexico, right, twice.
But it was 64% possession for USA, 13 shots, 3 on target. Canada had 8 shots, 4 on target. So in terms of shots, it was, USA had a little bit more in total, but possession-wise, USA dominated. And I'd have expected that, given the team. Like, it wasn't a weak team the USA had out. Like, you've got top European players in there, like Pulisic, McKennie, Tyler Adams from Leipzig, Dest in there as well. So,
but those guys were saying that the team isn't tough enough and they're soft, and it's like 64% possession. That like you don't have the ball if you're soft. That means it was just Canada's day. Like when are people gonna ever accept that you can't win every game and a loss can happen? Like why does it have
well, not
to
only
be...
has Canada got like a better team than they've ever had, they're also fired up as well.
Yeah.
Like it's a derby, it's a local derby for them internationally, and it's easier for them to be fired up now for it that they have a good team. Whereas for the USA, it's just another game, isn't it, really?
Right. Like, and I know the US has had some other games against other teams that we feel they should have won, but everybody's fired up. Everybody's teams are better. Everybody's playing better football. They it's like everybody's figuring out a way to get players from countries that they're related to, and everybody is playing soccer at a younger age and training harder. And it's just like, there's this arrogance. Like these guys be talking like the US won 3 World Cups and should be better. It's like, it's almost like, let me play like I'm a Brazilian and put the Brazilian expectations on America, who's never won really any major tournament, because that's how football is. They shouldn't have. Like, I would want America to win something, but if America came right away and won a World Cup, you know how disrespectful that would be to football, period. You know what I mean? Like, and what the audacious things people would say and think that would hurt the sports. Like, let us earn it. You know what I mean? Like, let us earn it. Without America, we're entitled to something. Like, there's countries been playing this for hundreds of years consistently, like, and doing it the right way. Relax, guys. Relax. I'm gonna go down to
the US is just have another team to worry about now in CONCACAF. I think Canada was always like, the Mexico is the main rival. Canada is just about making up the numbers, but that's not been the case of late.
Yeah, it's good for the region though. It drives the standard up in the region to have more strong teams. And I saw it when I coached in Canada. You could see the Canadian Association were doing lots of work to try and improve like standards.
Oh yeah, like what?
They were just investing more in youth development and making it more modern. Because when I was there, like, I still encountered so many backwards attitudes, like for people who didn't understand the game. They were applying like sort of North American sports kind of mentality to football. And it was very old school. There wasn't any understanding of long-term player development and about not treating, 8-year-olds like adults, which is what was happening in a lot of cases. Like, they were like making them do laps and stuff. It's no, you want to get them on the football. You want to get them technically developed. Kind of thing. So there was more of that coming in. Like, it was a very old school approach
right
in the past. And when I was there in 2016, 2017, it was sort of in the transition of there were more and more people there then who were trying to do things the right way. And since I've left, I've heard that it's been carrying on still in that direction. And there's lots of very good coaches working with the youth players there. And one of my former colleagues is a coach from Spain who has the UEFA Pro license, and he's working with the youth national teams in Canada now. We were both working at the same club together when I was there, and he stayed. So they've got good coaches working with their players. It's it's no surprise that they're improving, and it's only going to get better as well for them.
Yeah, they got players like, just like the US. There's not as many, but playing in some major leagues in Europe. And it's just like, hey man, like, you got to give Berhalter credit. Like, I don't know if he's the answer, but he did win 2 trophies last year with 2 different American teams. Like, who's done that? You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like there is just some overall resentment against him. This is just feels very emotional. And
maybe the allegation of the team being soft is a little harsh, because wasn't the Nations League thing against Mexico, the final, wasn't there like bottles being thrown at the players? And
yeah,
it was a really hostile environment, wasn't it, for that game?
Yeah. And it was just a tough game period. But to just like dismiss those wins now, like, come on, man.
And it's football, isn't it? Short-term memories.
Yeah, short-term memories. Yeah. And what else? I'm gonna go down to the LAFC training facility on Friday just for a little bit. So I'll let you guys know how I go. I'm gonna stop by there, talking to Seth over there.
LAFC lost Chelsea legend Jamal Blackman to Huddersfield.
Lost or sold?
Actually, I don't really know. But it must feel weird for him to have a permanent transfer after being loaned so many times.
Didn't he go to Reading? Actually, it was Anurim who went to Huddersfield, wasn't it? Well, not
I
Reading,
think now he's gone to Huddersfield.
Did Blackman go somewhere? I can't remember. Yeah,
he's gone to so many places. You can literally pick any club in the championship, and you'll be one and two.
He's been there.
Yeah. So yeah, he's back at Huddersfield now. He's doing well. Like he had got the starting spot at LAFC. So somebody's on.
We've loaned out one of your academy boys,
Simeo. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone to Carlisle in League Two.
Yeah.
To get some game time, but that was our only move this window. We signed some 16-year-old from Cheltenham in the lower leagues as well for like
stardom.
We haven't signed or sold anyone like major. There was a lot of clubs though who didn't really do anything.
Chelsea, we signed Dylan Williams from Derby, who's just about broken through to the Derby first team as a left back. And he's going to be playing for the academy. Then we signed this guy called Mason Burstow from Charlton, striker, tall, 6'1" striker, and he's gone straight back to Charlton on loan for the rest of the season.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Chelsea always fine kids, man.
And fan base has been very.
Say that again.
You go, Neil.
The fan base has been very angry. The fact that we did not actually get that, and especially the left wing back thing. We've known this for a while. So the fact that we didn't get
you tried to get Emerson right back.
I mean, that itself is so stupid that. If we thought that the solution is the guy who Tuchel gave 2 minutes in the entirety of his 6 months in the previous season, if that guy's the solution, that itself is very laughable. And then you couldn't even get that.
I think Emerson is good. I think you guys just underrate him, but he just...
No, it doesn't matter. Like the manager right now gave Emerson 2 minutes in 6 months.
I get
That's
that.
the only thing that matters.
No, not really, because then, like... You can end up relying on a player that you thought had no use to. It's happened so many times. So, but at least Emerson can walk onto if you had gotten him back, he walks back in with a title. It's like, and he played in the final. So it's like and he was good in the final. So it's like, I think.
But my point is like,
I don't think you guys should have got rid of him in the first place. Like I remember having this discussion.
I mean, he was third in the depth chart of left wing backs. So, he's obviously not. I just
think that's wrong too. For some reason, I like Emerson, man. I think he has more ability than Tuchel is getting credit for. I don't know why.
Maybe if they'd sold Alonso, he would have been worth keeping. But
yeah.
You can't keep Alonso, Chilwell, and Emerson because someone's going to be unhappy.
And that's what happened. Like people are saying that, that's the reason why we couldn't buy a left back because, you're then going to have these two guys and Emerson still not technically sold. They have an option to buy and seems like he's doing well. So Leon will probably buy. But knowing how our luck is, they're going to turn around this summer and say, nah, he's not worth it, keep him. when we needed him, you didn't give him to us, and now you're gonna not even pay up for him. But my point is like you should have gotten somebody. You knew this from November, and this is like we
who would you have gotten? Who would you have gotten?
You look at the transfer window. Lucadine moved. Trippier moved, and actually Trippier would have been perfect because
I don't think
he could have played.
is of Chelsea quality.
It doesn't matter. He just needs to be better than Marcos Alonso.
I don't think he's better than Marcos Alonso.
He's levels better than Marcos Alonso.
Let me ask you,
Marcos Alonso.
If we had a poll, right?
Marcos Alonso,
Lucadine. Who's saying Lucadine?
Marcos Alonso's first resort to any sort of defensive work is to pull the player and get a yellow card in like the first 15, 20 minutes.
It's called a tactical foul.
He can't. Yeah, but tactical fouls. People who do tactical fouls do it very sparingly. They don't do it every game.
You're exaggerating. You're exaggerating. If I had a gavel, I would bang it.
But I mean, my choice actually would have been Kieran Trippier because we actually have even Reece James who might come back, but even he's been having injury problems. And Trippier can play both left and right. He would have been perfect, but we didn't even go in for him.
Right.
You had a really good young fullback who could play left or right as well.
Livramento? The weird thing is like it could be Livramento, it could be Tariq Lamptey. That's like
So you guys should have just cleared out the old players and brought. It's too late now. It's like I said, Chelsea is the best and the worst. Like you said, unforced errors. It's unbelievable. But at least you get things right, and you won a title recently. So I guess they got some games coming up tomorrow in a
FA Cup this weekend.
And the FA Cup this. So let's hit those both. Let me go to CONCACAF schedule right quick. And these games are at 4 tomorrow. Jamaica versus Costa Rica. Jamaica has lost our last 2 games. We were leading Mexico. And we only had 10 men. And in the 80th minute, Mexico scored 2 goals and won the game. And then we were leading Panama and somehow managed to lose that game 3-2. So now we got Costa Rica, who's going to be tough for us. The US versus Honduras. Honduras just got beat by El Salvador. Now, if US doesn't beat this team, they're definitely, if people want Berhalter's head now, they're definitely going to want that shit on a
That's tomorrow, plate. Right?
That's tomorrow, yeah. Canada plays El Salvador tomorrow. Mexico plays Panama tomorrow. Panama's like 4th. So they can actually draw some blood.
Yeah, but they made the last World Cup, didn't they? I mean, they ended up getting smashed by England, but
right. They're 4th. They're 1 point behind Mexico, so they can beat Mexico. So,
where's the game at? Is it at Mexico or Panama?
Yeah, it's in Mexico.
Okay, they should win, but
I'm rooting for Panama. Yeah. I'm rooting for Panama because America and Mexico are tied at 18 points. Yeah. And then, so this weekend, FA Cup.
Right? Yeah. You guys are playing Friday against Middlesbrough.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
They got Chris Wilder, the old Sheffield United manager.
So let me ask you a question. When all the players fled, like it was a natural disaster right at the beginning of the break to Dubai, was it all training camps or was it vacation?
It was a mixture. Some people gave their players time off. Some teams trained. Like Newcastle took their whole squad to Saudi Arabia for like a training camp. I think it was part of a PR thing as well, obviously, with the new owners.
Right.
But yeah, I think some teams trained, some teams took some time off, some teams took some time off at the start, then came back. So yeah, it's a mixture.
I hope United got some training in. But yeah, we got Middlesbrough. West Ham has Kidminster.
Kidminster.
What the hell?
Yeah, they're from non-league. They beat Reading in the last round, which was a real upset because like Reading are obviously second tier. Kidderminster, I think, are tier 6.
Jeez.
They're in the 6th league, so they're the lowest team left in, I think, right now.
Right.
They're not even full-time professionals.
I could tell by their name and their shield. It's like a red emoji. It's like the heart emoji, but in the shape of a shield.
Oh no, that will just be like a stock thing. They do have a badge.
Oh yeah. All right. I guess Google couldn't find it.
Yeah, I think Google was just like, fuck that, we don't go that far down.
Jesus. Chelsea, watch out for Plymouth Argyle, baby. They're about to turn over your Apple cards.
Some game time for Marcus Bentenelli.
And Sal, what's his name? Sal.
Well, although I don't know, because like after that we go to the UAE to play the Club World Cup. So I don't know. I think Mendy, depending on when Senegal finish, he's going to join us directly in the UAE.
Okay, so a little bit about African Nations Cup. I saw so Egypt got out the quarterfinals and semifinals, and Senegal did too. And there were 2 other games. What if Mane ends up playing against Egypt against Salah in the semis? Like I have to check, like if they need each other. So
they're
what?
not playing in the semis. I think Egypt played Cameroon maybe, and Senegal played Burkina Faso. That's the 4 teams that are in. I'm pretty sure Senegal and Egypt aren't playing each other.
Oh, okay. All right. That would have been interesting.
But
so maybe they meet in the final.
That is the Kidderminster badge.
KFC?
KHFC.
I think it's
Harriers.
Like
KFC,
yeah, Kidderminster Harriers. It looks like some Polish shit. Martin would love that.
Yeah. I mean, I actually like it, but yeah. Everton versus Brentwood. Do you think Eriksson is going to play? Because he's at Brentwood now with his Danish coach.
Yeah, I don't know how ready he is to play. I don't know how far along the line he is with that. But I mean, it'd be great when he does step back on the pitch again. Because I mean, it's a hell of a comeback from being pretty much clinically dead. Back in less than a year, which is mad.
Yeah, he's seen the light. How about Tottenham Brighton? That's a legit Premier League matchup. What if Conte loses this? And I wonder who does Brighton have to replace Dan Burn? Like,
they got a bunch of centre backs.
I don't know. It's just a risky thing. How much money did they get for Dan Burn?
12 mil or something? 12 million, 15 million?
What was he at the end of his contract and getting old?
I'm guessing so. Yeah, I think he's getting a bit older. He's like late. I think he's like 29 maybe. Yeah.
All right.
I guess it'd be our contract in the summer. It's just a bid they weren't going to turn down.
Right. I mean, I guess that's big money for Brighton. And normally they're good at recruiting. It's just in front of the goal they're not good at. So anywhere else on the pitch, they're solid.
They're just looking at their squad. They still got like Dunk, Duffy, Webster, people like that. Look who else they've got.
Decent names.
Yeah.
You think Southampton could beat Coventry?
I mean, on paper, we're favourites. We should be. They're a sort of average championship team. It just depends. You know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they could turn up and have a great game. But you know, if we if we play to our capabilities, we should do. But this is the sort of game we would lose. Like we'll draw with City and then we'll lose
and ruin the whole vibe.
Yeah, that's how we roll. But yeah, just looking at Brighton, they've got Joel Veltman still, the Dutch guy. They've got some good players.
And I guess, let me see. What do you guys think about Roy Hodgson coaching Crystal Palace? I don't know if we got a lot. Not Crystal Palace. Watford. I feel like he's a very defensive-minded coach, and that's where Watford needs the help. Like defensively, he'll like. So if he can stop them from leaking goals, they have a better chance to win some games and get some points.
I don't think he can.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Newcastle have made such good signings and the fact that Norwich have picked up form as well, like it's looking bleak for them. So he needs to go in and he needs to get results immediately. Otherwise, they are fucked.
Think so.
Seems like
at least he's had some time to work with them though. Coming in when he has, so we'll see what he can do. It's a big job though.
I think they should have just stuck to Ranieri. I feel like their board just doesn't feel. They just feel so restless if they don't sack a manager when things are not going right.
It's almost like they hope the manager does bad so they can sack him.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have fired the first guy. Like, I'm sure they wouldn't be in this trouble right now. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But they just had to fire him. They need some Norwich patience. Like, Farka lost like 10 games in a row before this. All right, man, we gotta.
Yeah. Sacking when he's about to take you down for the second time.
Yeah. All right, so we got FA Cup next week. I think we covered everything. The transfers. We talked about the CONCACAF. There was that game in the CONMEBOL, was a very dubious game, Ecuador versus Brazil, where the referee, to say he was compromised is putting it really gently.
Some classic South American refereeing.
I mean, I don't want to stereotype it, but that guy in particular, check his bank account, bro. Like, yeah, he gave Allison 2 reds and had to take them back. It's just too easy to give Allison reds, but he didn't feel that the Ecuadorian goalkeeper, who literally Bruce Lee, the Brazilian player, in the box, like left the type of scars that Bruce Lee used to taste before he continued to fight on the player's neck. And the ref did not even consider it a foul until he had to go to the bar. And then it was supposed to be a penalty and he called it outside the box. So it was super suspect. But yeah, I'll be checking out those games. Hey, you guys got any last words about anything?
Just want to talk about Barca quickly. Just going out there, just signing all the pace. Just Barca signing all the pace. And they've kept Dembele as well. So technically they could line up with the front 3 of Abameyang in the middle with Dembele and Traore on the wings, which would just be maybe the quickest front 3 ever. But it'd be interesting to see how they use them, because like if they play against teams who want to sit deep, the pace is useless. Unless Xavi's going to suddenly turn into like a low block counter attack into the space kind of team. It's an interesting strategy, but it shows you just how bad it had got with Abameyang at Arsenal. That Arsenal were like, go for free, like we don't want you, like don't be here, please.
Well, Abameyang like learned his lesson about being late. Like you show up early before the deal is done, and then the deal falls apart. And Arsenal's like, what? Wait a minute, you're there? And then they're like, you know what? We're done with you. and then Abameyang is like, Barca, please, I'll take less money. And that's all Barca wants to hear is less money. He's like, I can't go back. Everybody knows I'm here.
Arsenal is like, you can't turn up on time for our training, and you turn up early to sign up for another club.
For a team that you don't even belong to yet.
Yeah, they don't even know you're expected.
Oh, so you can be early. You know what? Get out.
Well, I think the whole Osman Dembele thing, that's going to be an interesting situation because he's going to go on a free because he was in this last 6 months.
Right.
And Barca desperately wanted to offload him. I think Chelsea were interested, PSG were interested. But then again, if he's available for free in 6 months, why would you pay any money? They just wanted to get him out. And
I guess a few clubs probably decided to see whether they could loan him cheap or maybe offer a cut price to see if they could get him, and Barca have said no. So it'd be interesting.
They apparently wanted to just get him out because I don't think he's gonna play at all. I think things have broken down completely between them.
They're so pissed at him that he wouldn't take the deals that they got him to leave that they're like, they said, if you stay and don't take any of these deals, you're not playing for us. And I think once they got Adam Traore, because he plays on the right? Mm-hmm. And so does Dembele. So that was like, hey man, before the window closes, take these deals, and Dembele stayed. I don't know. And then Abameyang is like it's almost like Barca getting Abameyang is like Barca showing us that they're really not where they used to be. Like they bought a player that Arsenal would normally buy from them, and it's completely reversed. And it just shows how far, even though they got him cheaper, and good for Arsenal, they got some money off their books. They don't have to pay out this contract, and and they got a player that wasn't serious and that could affect Arsenal's youth mentality out, and they got to keep the money. And the only thing is Arsenal has to keep winning, or else their fans are going to be pissed without Abameyang. But I hope Abameyang gets his shit together and does well. I just think Barca has a bunch of mediocre strikers now.
I think they needed some bodies in because like Fati is injured again,
right? From
the sounds of it, and obviously if Dembele is completely falling out of favour there, then they need bodies. They got obviously Torres from City as well. There were rumours Morata might be there, but I think Atletico didn't want him to go to Barca because he's still their player, even though he's on loan at Juve.
Right.
There's a whole thing there, so yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. And then they also have, Depay. I guess he's been getting injured a little bit, and all the scoring was on. But we'll see. It maybe with all the combination of everybody, they'll make it top four. Well, we'll see. But I like how Barca is putting the blame on Dembele, and it's like, hey man, you're in trouble because of all the bad business you did leading up to this point, and you're putting this on this guy. Like, take this deal or else this is all your fault. It's just like these organizations sometimes are just so brazen. Like they'll make something that's not your fault, and just to, hey, football's tough sometimes.
Yeah, they've only got themselves to blame that they had to go shopping at the Arsenal dollar store. That's
yes, yeah,
it's on them.
Yeah, actually, they went to the Arsenal dumpster because that's where they put Dembele. Just didn't know Arsenal's dumpster was in goddamn Barcelona. All right, well, thanks, guys. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, for helping us put this stuff together. Thank you, Lee, for staying up. And thank you, Neil, for stretching sometimes and showing us your muscles. And get it, bro. You work out. In great shape.
Actually,
keep
don't
it up.
anymore.
Sure. Yeah. When was the last time you've been to the gym?
It's been a couple of
An
months.
hour ago. I stopped.
No, it's been a couple of months.
A couple of months. Hilarious. I'd love to look that way and not go to the gym in a couple of months. It's hilarious. But we'll see what happens, man. Good luck against Who you playing, Neil?
Plymouth.
Plymouth, Argyle. They should just drop the Argyle.
And then we play Al Hilal or some other team.
Oh, in the good luck in the world.
We need to. That's the one trophy that's not in the Chelsea cabinet. So we were there the last time we were there. We lost in the finals to Corinthians from Brazil. So we better, we need to get this one. It'll be a great way for Asplicator to end his Chelsea career, having won everything.
Let me ask you a question. Say you win this, and then you finish top 4. Does Tuchel keep his job?
I think Tuchel will keep his job even if we don't win this, as long as we maintain top 4.
Okay.
Unless he has like a complete breakdown with either the team or the board. But just on performances, I don't think he loses his job as long as he doesn't fall out of the top 4.
Right. I think he needs to win this because it's definitely winnable.
Yeah, we should be winning this. Yeah,
should be winning this. Yeah. I mean, if you had Emerson, you'd definitely win it, but who knows now?
Malang Sarr.
Yeah. All right, guys. And speaking of just one more thing, like as far as Watford is concerned, when the African Nations is over, they have Sarr back. I just saw him scoring for them, scoring for Senegal. So Ismail Sarr is fine now. He's not injured no more. And he just had a Mane assist and put the ball in the back of there. I think he scored 2, or he had 1 goal, 1 assist. But yeah, so that's gonna boost their Watford and Roy Hodgson. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Like and subscribe. Tell people. And peace, y'all. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, producer 1.